Call the roll.
Trustee Krusek,
Present.
trustee Page,
Present.
trustee Martinez,
Present.
trustee Blair,
Present.
Krusek, trustee Kagan,
Present.
Page, trustee Abbott,
Present.
trustee Martinez, Mayor Cunningham.
Present.
Quorum established.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Kagan.
If you could please join us in a moment of silence this evening. And we're going to dedicate the meeting in two different sections tonight. First of all, some of you may have noticed as you drove in this evening on our marquee that we have the names of three people that live in Woodridge that saved a life, a young child. And we are ever grateful. So thank you very much to neighbors who stepped up and just did whatever they had to do. So Darlene, Adela, and Anthony, you are our heroes, and we thank you very much for your life-saving, wonderful acts. Now, if you would please, as we dedicate our meetings tonight in the memory and in honor of four of our long-standing Woodridge neighbors who we recently lost. Al J.G.'s, Tracy Ketterer, Nancy Roach, and Walt Reed. To each of their families, their friends, their neighbors, we send our deepest condolences, along with our loving thoughts and prayers. Now, if you would please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, who is being led this evening by a Woodridge Scout, Liam O'Brien, and his dad, who are here. Liam is from Scout Troop 516 in Woodridge and is working on his Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. So Liam and your dad, if you would please lead us in the pledge. Liam is from Scout Troop 516 in Woodridge and is working on his Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. So Liam and your dad, if you would please.
One nation, under God, indivisible. Justice for all.
Thank you very much, Liam.
One nation, under God.
This evening, we're going to go right into comments from the public. So first, our comments that are not related to agenda items that are actually on our working agenda this evening. So we're going to first pause to acknowledge any written public comments that we've received prior to tonight's meeting that do not relate to our agenda. Administrator Stoney.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. We have received one written comment from Donna Prepajal. This is from the League of Women Voters regarding mental health boards, and I believe she's also in attendance tonight to deliver an in-person comment. And so once we get to that part of the agenda, we'll call you up. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Going to ask if there are any members of our public here who have joined us who wish to comment on items not related to tonight's agenda.
You can come up now, madam.
Donna.
Donna. You can come up now.
Today, I'm giving you,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
okay.
Identify yourself
All
by
right.
name and address before you
Okay.
get going. Thank you.
Donna Preppershaw, 3004 Scenic Wood Lane, Woodridge, Illinois. Today, I'm giving you a League of Women Voters report regarding mental health boards. I'm not speaking for the League. I'm speaking for myself. Because I don't have the authority to speak for the League. I'm not the president. A community mental health board is a volunteer board that will survey the needs of the community regarding mental illness, developmental disabilities, and substance abuse. The board will allocate funds to fill in service gaps to allow for more access with less wait time. The report focuses on Lisle Township. I became involved in this issue when I discovered that there is no planning or coordination of services. The ability to plan ahead is what distinguishes human beings from the rest of the animal world. Mental health boards in other communities have helped their neighbors and families with funding for police training and adult daycare. There are many unfunded needs. We can help the high school girl who tried to end her life, or the college boy who needs help for his substance use. The downside, of course, is that there is a small property tax increase, but the voters can choose whether or not they want this. The funding will undoubtedly improve lives and in some cases, save them. I hope you will support community mental health boards. I am collecting signatures for a ballot initiative in Lisle Township, and the Will County Board has voted to put it on the ballot in November. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Donna. And let's maybe just ask my fellow board members if anyone has any questions or comments at this time. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for sharing the information. This is something that we have been receiving information on, and we will take it under advisement. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for sharing the information. This is something that we have been receiving information on, and go and now pause for just a moment to acknowledge any written public comments that have been received prior to the meeting that do appear on tonight's agenda. And if so, we'll enter those into the public record. Administrator Stonage.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. We have received 2 public comments relating to tonight's agenda items, specifically on adult use cannabis and whether to legalize dispensaries in Woodridge. One is from Richard Petratus, and copies of which have been provided to the board in advance of the meeting. The other comment is from Chet Zerlog, also in reference to the agenda item for cannabis. Copies have been provided to the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask if there is any members of our public here this evening who have joined us that wish to comment on any item that does appear on tonight's agenda. If so, we'll have you step up to the microphone. I'm going to ask if there is any members of our public here this evening. Thank you very much for being here. We'll go ahead to our omnibus agenda this evening. Going to ask please for a motion to approve items A through H and acceptance of I through K.
So moved.
Going to ask please for a motion to approve items A through H and acceptance of I through K. I'm sorry, we do have public comment, so we'll go ahead and do what we're doing, and then we'll come back to public comment if that's okay. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry we missed you, sir. Trustee Kagan, was that a motion? Okay, thank you very much. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any requests for any separate consideration for any item on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, going to ask our administrator to please review our omnibus this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. Members of the board, good evening. First item A is resolution 2022-66. It's a resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2020 annual financial reports for Seven Bridges Golf Club covering for calendar year ending December 31st, 2020. Item B is resolution 2022-67. It's a resolution awarding a 1-year extension of the janitorial services contract, bid number 2017-04 to Unimax Management Corp. For the period August 1st, 2022 to July 31st, 2023. Item C is resolution 2022-68. Resolution awarding bid 2022-11. This is in relationship to the 4 million gallon standpipe replacement pumps and VFD upgrades, awarding a contract to Bowler Construction Company in the amount of $254,300. Item D, resolution 2022-69. Resolution authorizing the administrator to execute an extension to an agreement for professional services between the Village of Woodridge and Christopher B. Burke Engineering. This is also in relationship to the standpipe, 4 million gallon standpipe replacement project, pump replacement project and VFD upgrades. Item E, resolution 2022-70, a resolution awarding bid 2022-13. This is for the purchase and installation of the mechanical garage exhaust system. Contract award to Hastings Air Energy Control, Inc. in the amount of $35,463. Item F, resolution 2022-71, resolution changing authorized signers at Hinsdale Bank. Item G, resolution 2022-72, resolution permitting the extension of a temporary COVID testing clinic located at CVS Pharmacy parking lot at 8645 Woodward Avenue. Item H, resolution 2022-73, is a resolution permitting the extension of a temporary COVID testing clinic drive-through located at Woodridge Clinic parking lot, 7530 Woodward Avenue. Item I are previous board minutes. Item J are the accounts payable registers for June 10th, 17th, 24th, 2022, and also July 1st and July 8th of 2022. Last item K are the credit card registers for April 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Going to ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Martinez, trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to invite the gentleman up that was wanting to speak on public comment. I'm sorry to do that to you, so please, sir, come up if you don't mind, and we'll have you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You know, you might want to use the one by the podium. It might be easier.
Thank you. My name is Drew Bolda. I'm a resident of Lyle Township, the part that is within the village of Downers Grove. I am visiting you to advocate for some mental health boards for Lyle Township. And these mental health boards provide very needed services and resources for the community. Where I first encountered their usefulness would be in domestic disturbance calls, where as a child coming from a alcoholic and divorcing home, I had police visit my home several times. Those are no-win situations where a social worker and also would be more appropriate, because police are outstanding for crimes. And it's very difficult to tell if a crime is even being committed in a domestic disturbance. And what the family needs more than anything else is resources. So to have a person come out and also be available with a contact number for resources for resolving the disputes and helping people get along would be a tremendous service to the community and every family member in there. These 708 boards will service or the targeted benefits will go to people with addiction and recovery, mental health, and people with developmental disabilities such as autism or Down syndrome. And I think it's a very worthwhile cause, and I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Such as autism or Down syndrome. It's a very worthwhile cause, and I'm grateful that I have the opportunity.
If I could, I'd just like to ask our chief maybe to make a few comments on our social worker that we have at the village, because I think it's important to know. And we want, if you don't know, that we do have a social worker here, what a significant impact it's made.
Yeah, it's been a huge success for us. Our social worker started, she's part-time right now, but we hope in the future we could make it full-time. Brian, she's part-time right now, but we hope to move it to a full-time position. She's been outstanding from day one. The resources she's given, especially for domestic violence victims, but also people who have suffered deaths in their family and whatnot. It's just been a tremendous help for her. The thing that I'm so impressed about is the way the officers reacted to it. You know, there was some concern that maybe the officers wouldn't like having a social worker around. Just the opposite. She's one of our team right now, and it's been a great program so far. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Chief.
The officers wouldn't like having a social worker around.
Under the mayor's report this evening, we do have several items. July 30th, which is Saturday, Woodridge has a special book release event, Images of America, Woodridge. The Village of Woodridge will be hosting a special book signing and ice cream social on Saturday, July 30th. We will actually be kicking off with a celebratory program beginning at 10 a.m. on Saturday, July 30th, and will go until noon. We'll be right here at Village Hall, 5 Plaza Drive. The author, Joe Friedel Higgins, is going to be here after the presentation and the program, and she's more than happy to sign any of your books that you would like. It's our history, and it's our first inaugural book written about Woodridge. The book actually describes how Woodridge began. on farmlands here and became the beautiful community that we are today. Our celebratory program again begins at 10 a.m. right here at the Village Boardroom. It will be a fun day, an exciting day, and also we're sweetening the celebration by serving Cold Stone ice cream starting at 11 a.m. The book is available to purchase in person at the events we have, or you may purchase them online for $23.99, and that actually started July 18th. So we hope to see everyone on the 30th. Woodridge National Night Out being hosted by our own Woodridge Police Department. Woodridge Night Out is approaching, and we're excited to share some of the activities that we've planned so far. We hope that you will join us on Tuesday, August 2nd from 6 until 8 p.m. at Duffy's Pavilion, which is located at 8201 James Avenue, which is right next to the Woodridge Park District Arc. The event scheduled and the activities will include, of course, a warm welcome, introductions, and a discussion about crime trend information in Woodridge. There'll be special activities for our students and kids in our community. There'll be coloring tables, squad car demonstrations, decorative bike parade, which is a great idea, lots of fun. So the kids are encouraged to decorate their bikes and bring it to the event. There'll be fun face painting, music, water balloon toss, and of course, ice cream. It seems like we're doing a lot of ice cream here in Woodridge, but this will be Nick's Happy Ice Cream. So part of a happy summer is coming together and celebrating, and we hope that you and your families will come out to National Night Out in Woodridge. This will be Nick's Happy Ice Cream. So part of a happy summer is coming together. And Chief, I think I also heard there's going to be a helicopter flyover. Is that something you've been working on?
Yes, we're on the list for a flyover. It's a friend, so hopefully he'll come through.
Wonderful. So we'll hope that does happen. Anyway, thank you very much, Chief, and to the entire police department. There is a new National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline phone number, and that is 988. If you or someone you know needs any emotional support or crisis help, please note that the Crisis Lifeline number has been changed. And again, it is 988. If anyone is in a crisis or seeking emotional support, you can call or text that number, and you can speak with a trained counselor. Again, that number is 988, and if you want to write to them, you can do it at 988lifeline.org. The counselors are there to listen. They're there to help you understand and cope with the problems and things that are affecting you or your loved one. They provide immediate support and connect you to resources as needed. On Thursday, July 21st at 7 p.m., which is tonight at 7 p.m. Teens are over at our Woodridge Public Library, and it's all about solar power. And this is a great program, and they actually teach the students and their families how to use different ways and to bake s'mores. So it's really kind of a neat program, all about solar ovens. So more and more information will be coming out from us as a village and also the library. We're very dedicated to trying to help make a difference and bring programs forth that talk sustainability, energy efficiency, and energy options. Lastly, preschooler candy campfire event. Children ages 3 to 5 years old can create tasty treats with edible bugs, bears, pretzels, and other goodies during the camping foods creation on Tuesday, July 26th at 10 a.m. at the Woodridge Public Library. You can go right on their website and you can register online. Thank you very much. That is my report this evening. And Administrator Stone, it's your report, please.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. First item A is ordinance 2022-41. This is in reference to cannabis dispensary zoning ordinance amendment. We have our interim community development director, Doug Pollock, is here to present to you. This is in reference to cannabis dispensary zoning ordinance amendment.
Thank you, Manager or Administrator Stonich, Mayor Cunningham, and trustees. Before you tonight is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to add cannabis dispensary as a special use in all non-residential zoning districts. The ordinance has been prepared based on prior direction from the village board, as well as based on a unanimous recommendation from the Plan Commission. The board will recall that in January and February of this year, you held public workshops where you responded to a referendum that was before the community in 2021, in which time the community voted in favor of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries in the village of Woodridge. At that time, the board directed the Plan Commission and staff to schedule a public hearing to consider amendments to the zoning ordinance. The Plan Commission did that on June 6th of this year. A public hearing was held before the Plan Commission. There was one email comment received by the Plan Commission, and no one from the general public participated in the public hearing. The commission unanimously recommended approval, excuse me, of an amendment to the zoning ordinance subject to the following terms. One is that a special use would be required, and that special use could be requested for any non-residential zoning district in the village. Two, the commission established a buffer, recommended a buffer. This was based on direction from the village board. They agreed and recommended a 100-foot buffer from any residential use or zoning district and a minimum 1,000-foot buffer from any K through 12 school in the village. The commission's recommendation also limited the number of dispensaries allowed in the village to a maximum of 2 cannabis dispensaries. I do have a map available that I would be happy to show to the board, or if you have any further questions about the mapping, I can answer those at the conclusion of my presentation. The board's direction did not specifically state whether the residential separation would apply to all types of residential or single family. The commission did address that, and it was their recommendation that the 100-foot separation apply to all residential uses and zoning districts, whether it be single family, townhomes, or multifamily residential. Likewise, the commission also recommended that the number of dispensaries be limited to 2. Staff has received several inquiries regarding potential businesses interested in applying for a special use for a cannabis dispensary. We have prepared an application process, and you will notice in the ordinance, it creates an effective date or states that applications will not be received until Monday, July 28th or 24th. Sorry, 25th. Thanks, Al. So we would not accept applications till Monday, and that's just to give a little buffer time in case there are changes or any other follow-up that's needed before we start accepting special use applications. And finally, staff does recommend approval of this ordinance. It is the ordinance is based on prior board direction, as well as the unanimous recommendation of the Plan Commission. So I would be happy to answer any questions about the Plan Commission's recommendation or the staff's presentation of this ordinance.
Thank you very much. Any questions at this time? Trustee Blair?
I just have one, and I'm going to direct it, if you will, to the chief. Can you just, and I know you've spoken to this before to us, just reiterate, has in other communities that already have these dispensaries, has there been an increase in crime, problems, et cetera?
The biggest issues that most of the communities documented is traffic concerns, especially when the dispensary first opens. But as far as crime related to the dispensary, it's been very, very low, if any. The biggest issues we see in Woodridge are still the not on the legalized end, but the stuff that's not legal, the grow houses and selling stuff that's grown by themselves. So,
And this wouldn't have any impact on that.
no.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I do have a question, Doug, if you don't mind, please. Could you please walk us through maybe some examples with regards to the 100 feet? What does it actually look like? Do we have specific examples? Thank you.
Sure. I did just add a little scale to what 100 feet means. I did prepare some maps.
Thank you.
So, for example, this is the corner of 75th and Janes Avenue. And you can see when it's across the street from a major thoroughfare like 75th Street, the 100 feet is not going to impact whether that property is eligible. In this case, the right-of-way, the distance between the retail buildings at the corner and the residential across the street is over 200 feet.
So what we're saying, Doug, is if it was somewhere in the vicinity of 75th and Janes Avenue, maybe in a shopping mall or et cetera, 100 feet is either business, retail, or 75th Street.
Yes, it's more than 100 feet from the residential across the,
235.
right. There are some other examples. At 7 Bridges, again, to put this into scale, the right of way of Route 53 is over 100 feet. So clearly the residential to the east of 7 Bridges is more than 200 feet from the residential on the east side of 53. But you'll notice internally in 7 Bridges, the separation between the commercial buildings and the multifamily is approximately 150 feet. So those properties would still be eligible, but if that number changed, they may not be eligible, depending if how you might change it.
Any other examples? Or is that-
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, that's did that one.
So you have Hobson, Woodridge Drive.
So again, at 75th and Janes Avenue, north side of the street, you can see that strip center the buildings are more than 100 feet from the residential to the north. And they are more than 100 feet from the residential to the west. So again, that would be an eligible area. Let me see what else I have here. On Hobson Road, there's a strip center near Woodridge Drive. The ball fields you see in the back there are actually zoned commercial. So they would not change the separation. The buildings are 100 feet from residential, except to the west, where you can see I've drawn a red line that's approximately 100 feet. And so you could see a cannabis dispensary in that building could not be located at that end of the building. They'd have to be further inside.
And again, Director, if I could just make sure that the board is clear and the public is clear on that western edge, something that would be, for example, at the 3030 address or the 3024 address would be compliant, but on the 3050 address would not.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. That is very helpful. So thank you very much.
Sure.
Any other questions from
Yes,
anyone?
I do
Yes,
have a
Trustee
question.
Martinez?
All right, so we've seen the residential. Show me how the residential overlaps with the school.
I did not do any separate mapping for the schools, but I can show you one example. Right around the corner on Janes Avenue is a school. And you can see when you draw that 1,000 foot separation from that school. It takes away some of this commercial property. Yeah, otherwise, this map takes into.
The green is,
The green shows areas that are eligible for cannabis dispensary.
okay, but you said that it's not because it's very close, because it's next to the school.
There's commercial zoning in this area.
Yes.
That part of the commercial zoning would not be eligible, the white area here where I've got my cursor.
Where is Jefferson? Where's the school?
I believe it's about right there. So
Where?
can you see my cursor on the screen? The little handprint.
Again, Director Pollock, just to make sure that we're clear, the green highlighted areas are areas that are compliant with both the 100-foot to residential and 1,000-foot to schools.
Right.
And so, to your point, putting the cursor back over by Jefferson, if we could, Sam.
I guess I'm not following the map. So this, is this 355, the big wide? Okay, so that's the problem with this map. It doesn't tell me what it is. I mean, I lived here 50 years, but I still don't know every street in this town. So I don't know where 75th Street is in relationship to I-355, et cetera. So if you're telling me that James Avenue is, I guess, to the west here, right there,
Yes.
and Jefferson is just below the center drive up here. So you're telling me that this area is still compliant to the 1,000 feet.
The area shown in green on this map.
Okay. As you go further in other areas, I just happened to talk about Jefferson because right around the corner. If you go to the other side of the map, is there any place that we're very close to schools?
Quite honestly, I'm not familiar with all the locations of the schools in the village. Maybe you want to try to address that, Al?
Sure. Doug, why don't we go to Hobson and 53, please, Route 53. If you could zoom in, please.
Yeah, that's Edgewood.
Goodrich.
Goodrich.
Okay. Damn, you got a little thing here.
Right, so Goodrich is on the
Yes.
northeast corner.
So that little triangle there is eligible just to the east or northeast of
Yep.
the
Yes, sir.
Woodridge School.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, isn't that the strip mall that we just talked about? Like the center part of it would be eligible, but on either end, they would not be eligible. That's what that little triangle is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. that's right.
Could you come south in the map, please?
And just to confirm, 1,000 feet is what we do for alcohol sales, correct?
100 feet is for liquor stores. 100
From
feet.
schools.
Correct, chief, right? Is it 100? Yeah,
And so we're proposing 1,000 for cannabis.
So again, this big street here, is that 75th Street?
Yes, it's 75th. Going
And this
east
is
to
the-
west on the map,
Where's 53?
right here.
So this is a Shell gas, is this where Cedar Hurst is?
The Shell gas station is where the cursor is, at the southeast corner.
Okay, again, with all due respect, all the efforts have been done. This is supposed to show 75th and Route 53. And it seems to me that's the west side of 53. That's in the middle of a senior housing and the Elmhurst facility. I don't understand why that's green. Al?
Our GIS consortium prepared the maps. They prepared it based on their land use data and the zoning. let's be clear, this map would not be the definitive statement. This is just an example to show possible locations under the current buffer
But I
requirements that
think
are
you should take
recommended.
consideration what exists. And if there's a senior housing there, and if there is a hospital-related building, why would you show the possibility of putting a cannabis in there?
Trustee Martinez, I can't answer that, but what we will do is review this more thoroughly. However, excluding that, if you look at the other areas, all the other areas on the map here reference the 100 feet for residential and 1,000 feet from schools. So we can certainly,
Okay, keep on south, please. Where is 83rd? Here, so
It's 83rd.
this green area there, is that by my house? And 53? I don't understand it.
Okay.
No, this one. Hmm?
yeah, I'm not sure why that item is showing up on this map. This might be an older map. Because we got 53 here on the far west side, right, Doug? And
Right,
83rd is here.
right.
Yeah.
Is that the self-storage unit up there in the green there by the sanitary district? Is that where that's showing? And
It would be showing if it's zoned in a non-residential district.
it's 100 feet from a residential district, right?
Right.
Okay. What's the total right-of-way width of Route 53?
It's over 100 feet.
Thank you.
Okay, I give up.
And if I could, just trustee Page, just to confirm your question from before, the code for both liquor and tobacco stores, the distance required is 100 feet. There's not a 1,000-foot requirement for anything else in the village.
And we're proposing 1,000 though for cannabis.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's what's
perfect.
proposed.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much, Doug. Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
very much. Right, true. So we'll go ahead. We do have a need for a motion, ordinance 2022-41, please.
So moved, Kagan.
Thank you, trustee Kagan. And a second, please.
Second page.
Thank you, trustee Page. Any discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Martinez,
Nay.
trustee Blair,
I am going to vote for this. I just want to be clear. It's
trustee
not
Martinez,
something I'm thrilled about, but I think we have to be
trustee
realistic
Blair,
and it's here. It's all around us. And I think we have to be realistic and, you know, it started in Springfield, not here.
Thank you, trustee Blair.
so I'm sorry, is that that's an A?
No, it's an I.
Aye.
It's an I.
Trustee Blair. Mhm.
Okay. Trustee Kagan? I'm sorry,
Aye.
is that trustee Abbott?
Nay.
It's an I. Trustee Krusek?
Aye.
Trustee Kagan? Trustee Page?
Aye.
Trustee Abbott?
Nay.
Motion passes. Trustee Krusek?
Aye.
Trustee Kagan? Trustee Page?
Aye.
Trustee Abbott? Motion passes.
The next one, did you read it already? We're going to go ahead and look at the second ordinance, and our administrator will read that, please. Thank you.
Next item B, ordinance 2022-42, is adult use cannabis municipal retailers occupation tax. The board's direction on this particular ordinance at prior workshops reflected a preference for the maximum 3%, which is reflected in the ordinance for your consideration.
Thank you very much. So we have an ordinance 2022-42. I could please have a motion to approve that ordinance.
So move, Kagan.
Thank you, trustee Kagan. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. Any discussion on this item? I could please have a motion to approve that ordinance. Seeing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Martinez.
Since the board passed it.
Trustee
Aye.
Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek. Motion passes. Trustee
Thank you very
Page,
much, everyone, and thanks to staff and
Martinez.
everyone. This has been a true work in progress for a long time, so thank you very much, everyone. To our neighbors throughout Woodridge and everyone here this evening, please do take good care. We thank you very much for always staying connected to the village of Woodridge. It truly means everything to all of us. We also appreciate your support and ongoing support of our local and shopping local, so of our local businesses, for we know that all of that support means everything to our businesses and our community. Wishing everyone a happy summer. So with no further business to discuss this evening, I would ask please for a motion to adjourn our regular board meeting of the village board.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Blair, and a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Martinez. All those in favor, please sign aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned at 7:41 PM. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good evening. It's good to see everyone.